Morning, ladies and gentlemen. VuduVince here, and I decided to start the plane walkthroughs again after dealing with some other jazz here. So we're going to go ahead and just start at the top here with the A20, and the A20 is an airframe that's been in the game for quite some time, and it's a good, solid airframe. It gives you about everything that you could possibly need. You got good range, good speed, good maneuverability, good guns. You just got about everything that you'd need to go out and tear some stuff up. So you have 2 points. You got wing points and you have a bomb bay. You can also load nothing. You can take it out with just its gun package, which is 8 forward firing 50 caliber machine guns, or actually it's 6 in the nose and then two rear facing. Actually, I don't even know if they actually count the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, only 6. I have mine set pretty damn close. I didn't realize that. I'll leave them there. So you have 6 forward firing and 2 rear facing in a turret. Your 2 rear facing they're not that great. You can get some things. Sometimes, a lot of times, the tail's in the way. I'll show that to you. Carries plenty of fuel in it. Usually, though, it's used primarily for bombing tanks. You won't see it outside of that very often. Usually, take it to a V base or something that's under attack from vehicles. And being able to carry 4 500-pound bombs on the wing points and internally, it's just a good setup. Alright, so we're out here. Good visibility out the left and right, also out of the top. To the rear is a bit limited, but the cool thing with this aircraft is that it's still a third-person viewable aircraft. It's still in the bomber role, so you can actually get out to the third person to keep an eye on your plane. Of course, if you're going to do any bombing and whatnot, I would go back here, or if you're going to shoot, because once you learn how to do it from here, then you can always do it. So you've got good visibility out of the front, and for the most part back to about almost getting back over the wings and such. So you can also hop out to F3 though. In the training arena, we've got the bomb sight, but of course I wouldn't use it anywhere else. We're gonna go ahead and take off here. I've kicked my autopilot takeoff off already. As you notice, it didn't violently whoop off to one side. It's because you got counter-rotating props, so the torque negates itself. My hand's off the controls actually, and it just takes off. It's been a little while since I've flown this airframe, but it's served me really well, and it does an excellent job in the anti-vehicle role. You can also hit ships with it if you can get in close enough. They don't see you. Your gauges are still pretty much all the important ones are arrayed before you. You've got airspeed, artificial rise and climb rate, compass, altitude, your autopilot deal, beacon, oil pressure for your number 1 and number 2 engine, temperatures for number 1, number 2, manifold pressure for both engines, RPM for both engines, your flap indicator, acceleron, clock, fuel. I mean, you got everything you need right here. I don't think they hide anything else up close here. With some models, they like to, some of the gauges are actually out of sight. On the Brewster, your oil pressure gauge, when you take oil hits, actually down on the low left, I believe. So if you hit your number pads, number 8 and 0 at the same time, your head will look slightly down, like at your feet. As you notice, you carry 2,100 rounds of 50 calibers, which is enough to take out anything you run into aircraft-wise. This aircraft can be made to be be very maneuverable. And again, I'm trying to think of who the crazy rascal is that flies this thing around and attacks stuff. One of the things is if you're when you're going to go bomb something, when you take off, your internal stores, your bomb bay bombs are the ones that are selected first. You want to change this actually to your external, your wing points. You want to get rid of those wing bombs first, because once you've gotten rid of those wing bombs, you're a lot more maneuverable, and it's a lot easier to bomb stuff when the bomb's coming from the center line versus the wings. So typically I'll fly around in the third person, and I'll find a target, you know, or I'll see that there's tanks, say, attacking this field here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up. I'm going to say that there's a tank right out here on this last little spindly line out here. And so I'm going to see that he's there. I'm going to keep my altitude up because tanks are going to shoot at you, flaks, and tanks are going to use their main guns because they see you, they know that you're coming for them. So I'm going to keep my altitude up here. I'm not going to do a shallow dive or anything. I'm going to wait till the last possible minute to dive. I'm going to make my angle in here. Now I've hit my bomb select once, so it should be, or I might have hit it twice. It's if you're carrying 500 pounders, you can't tell between your internal storage and your external storage, which is an issue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here. And when I get ready, I'm going to make a swoop. Now sometimes I'll dive bomb from the third person, but it's few and far between. Alright, so we're going to make this dive here. We'll see if it... Alright. Oops. And you find out right there one of the very first issues with the A20. If you're diving and you've got a lot of airspeed, it's a lot more pronounced now than it used to be. The wings come right off of it if you pull back on it. Been a long time since I've flown this thing. So let's figure out what airspeed that happens at. Alright, so your internal stores are selected first. You hit your backspace or your secondary select once. We get rid of those wing points. I wasn't paying attention to my airspeed indicator. That's definitely one of the things you got to watch for. Is usually the whole wing doesn't come off. It's usually just now with the update. I'm sure they've maybe finally corrected that, but I doubt it. Usually it's like everything but the leading edge of the wing that comes off. Makes for a pretty interesting build. I've never had both wings come completely off the rest. Of course, again, it's been a long time since I've flown one of these things. Alright, trying to tear this thing up again. Go ahead and get rid of these internal stores. It'd probably be about 350, 400 miles an hour, I think. As soon as I get out of this lake, I'll put it into a dive. This thing has relatively good speed. You can outrun, like if you're in a scenario or something like that, and you have fighters of your era around, you should be able to outrun them. You know, say like Japanese planes and stuff like that. I think it's got we'll have to get the cruise speed on it and see what it will do. But it's got a pretty good speed. You can't outrun any of the late war monsters. You can't outrun 51s or the bigger Spitfires or a lot of those other aircraft. But, you know, like, you don't have to worry about, as long as the boosters can't get on you while you're bombing or doing your other business, you should be fine. You will have to watch for ground fire, and not everyone that's going to see you is going to try and shoot you. So we're going to put this rascal nose down. We're going to get up to about 250. Okay, so nothing happens at 250. We're going to go over the top. We're going to dive to 350. I'm going to try and pull out again. There's 250. True. 300. 350. Okay. So probably between 350 and 450. If you pull hard coming out of your...
Pulled up a little hard, huh?
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what airspeed it was at. That was about 350.
Been there, done it.
Yeah, I just tore both wings off, but I still had a 500-pounder per wing. I think I was doing about 400, maybe 425 true.
Ah.
We'll see what it'll do, because most of the time you're already going to have your wing points gone. By the time Hawker, I got beeps but no voice, sir.
I said I need an A20G. What's its strong suit?
Ground attack. Use it to, it'll hold either 4 250s or 4 500-pound bombs on wing points and on internals. You got 6 forward firing 50 calibers and 2 rear facing 50 cals in a turret. Let's go over that turret. You can see right here you got good visibility out at 6 o'clock at the top. You got good turning, but a lot of times,
Try one of those sometime.
yeah, you'll just have to watch yourself in a dive. Once you make your dive, pickle your bomb, and then ease out of your pull out, because it's about 350, because it'll get going fast really quick. It'll whoop those wings off. Used to, it just took off everything but the leading edge of your wings, and now the whole wing goes. If you see right here, I'm pulling the trigger.
See.
Nothing happens here, but you can shoot one gun here, now both guns, and then as you come back out. So it's real hard to hit an airplane that's anywhere in here.
You use that plane in the MA?
I used to quite a bit. I used to use it a lot. I don't anymore though. I use the new Stuka. Give the GV guys a chance.
You use the new what?
The new Stuka, the G2 Stuka. The one that's got the big guns on it.
Oh, okay.
So I've hit my stores once. Usually what'll happen is I'll come in, I'll see an aircraft.
The Stuka is a new addition to the MA?
It is. I'll come in here right like this and I'll pickle a bomb like that. It should hit just the ass into those trees right there.
Now that's a dive bomber, right?
The Stuka is, yes. But the new model, you got the D3 I think, and the G2. The G2 only has the guns on it. It doesn't have any bombs. But the D3 can carry the ordnance still.
How does the G2 handle insofar as a turner?
It's very solid. Like, it'll turn real fast, but it's kind of slow. It's like driving a leaf. It just kind of wafts around. So you kind of have to predict what you need before you need it, but it's a solid aircraft, a lot of fun to fly. What I'll do is I'll roll inverted like this, and I'll tank, and as I make my drop, I'll just peek and I'll drop it, and you just hold your path through your pull, and that'll keep you from doing that let's dive and tear the wings off business. When you do that dive though, the first thing, and the reason why I said you need to get rid of those wing bombs first, is because it loads down your wings, and that's extra weight on them. So once you get rid of those, then you can pull out a little harder without fear of tearing your wings off and stuff. So we're gonna go out here. We're gonna drop a couple more bombs, and I'll show you pulling out with a lot of that, with a lot of airspeed here. So we're gonna get out here with wing points. I'm gonna drop the two bombs that are still on the wings. We're gonna get to about 350 and see if I can still pull it off. Like I said, it's been ages since I've flown this thing. Now, I think you can do, say there's a tank right there off the front of my, right there on the edge of the water. You can throw in a lot of rudder. You can pitch opposite, decrease throttle. I'm gonna aim for right there in that spot. So I'm gonna pick up my bombs. Alright, now I'm going about 350, and I'm just going to ease out of it. I'm going to increase throttle as I get my nose up. It's apparently a lot more touchy than it used to be. Main thing is get rid of those wing points first. It'll be trial and error too. It's been a long time since I've flown it, so.
What's the nomenclature for the Stuka? I can't find it.
JU87 D3, or D-3 and then G-2. JU87 will be the star.
Thank you.
No problem. I'm gonna do a little low-level work with this thing. This rascal will flap too. You can pitch up and flap it, and then dive on targets and stuff like that. It does well at altitude, but I'm not gonna. I say it does well at altitude. It can get up there pretty high, but typically you're not gonna see one up real high. They're gonna be down on the deck. They're for busting stuff. 10,000 feet and below. You're gonna be on the deck. So I'm not gonna run you through any of that business. The aircraft's solid. I mean, it's really easy to read the wingspan. You can figure out about where it's sitting at. You can. You just gotta make sure when you hear the stressing when I was pulling, you can't pull it real hard. You can't just yank back on it because it'll come apart on you. It really will. But for the most part, it's a good solid airframe for bombing tanks or anything else you run into. You could hit ordnance or guns on an airfield with your 650 cals up front. I mean, they got good dispersion. That'd have been a gun right there, Tell my calibration's a bit off on my stick. It's a little bit glitchy. Say you're gonna come in here and you run into a Stuka, poor Stuka, You can see I'm just gaining on him rapidly. I'm doing about 300 miles an hour. Level. You have WEP.
Flies like a tank.
Yeah.
Does it have that classic Stuka dive bombing siren sound?
No, not in here, but you can get a sound pack. I think that they have it so that that when you dive with it, it'll do it. But no, not default.
I see.
And that's just your basic run-of-the-mill walkthrough. Good solid aircraft, real maneuverable. You won't have to worry about I can put it through a roll right here at low altitude. You just got to watch yourself when you when you start to pull real hard if you're fighting another aircraft. Once you get down to
below
250, you can yank it on around. And I can't remember the guy's name. He flies the hell out of one, and it's crazy what that cat can do with it. Let's see when the flaps deploy. Probably about 150, 175, 175. You got tricycle landing gears. You got your nose gear up front. So we're just gonna bring it on in here, and then a little bit of flare. Just let her drift on in. Yeah. Get that nose down. Good, reliable aircraft when handled right. Damn nasty against tanks. The few times I use it against tanks is when there's a bunch of them. Like, say you got 8 or 10 guys attacking like 2. I'll do that kind of an attack. For the most part, like I told Hawker, I try to give the GV guys a chance because I know they don't like getting bombed, and they do like to gripe at you a whole lot. So I shoot them with the Stuka. It takes a lot more skill. It's a lot more fun to me to shoot them with the anti-tank Stuka, and I'll play with them. I'll let them have a chance up until it starts to get drastic, and then I'll take an A20 out and bomb them. But it's been ages since I've taken an A20 out and bombed anything with it. So who knows? I may not fly one again for a long time. This has been the first time I've flown it in several months. So I hope this helps you out. And if you got any questions, post below and let me know what you think, or if you discover anything else, or if I was incorrect in any of the information. Some of you old hats, I know y'all have flown these for a lot longer than I have. Just post in the comments below, or let me know, and I'll get it adjusted. Other than that, good solid aircraft, the A20G.
Have a nice day, Voodoo.
Oh, Roger, sir, you too. And see you on the sky soon.